where we serve up practical tips, tricks, hacks, and how-tos for boosting your brain and body, as well as fine-tuning your fitness, health, and lifestyle.
Hey guys, I'm Coach Michael Merlino.
And I'm Dr. Hasenbank.
I'm a fitness trainer and running coach from Houston, Texas, with 23 years of experience of helping people get fit, improve their athletic performance, and reach their finish lines.
And I'm a muscle movement guy, sports injury specialist from Nashville, Tennessee. Been in practice for 20 years, and I'm here to help you move better, hurt less.
Oh, guys, we truly believe that if you put the tips into play that we share with you on this show, that you're going to create a stronger, happier, more productive version of you.
Hey, y'all, train and work smarter, not harder.
Let's go.
All right.
Episode number 4, Doc.
4.
We're on a roll, and as usual, just putting it all together, man. So how's your week been? I had a great week. We both got the Sennheiser mics rolling here, so hopefully the audio is better for you guys.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Cranked up the running group this week. So we had our first week back, had a good little speed play workout yesterday, and
nice.
People are just so thrilled to be out. And I got this awesome, sometimes when you give up, want to give up, not give up, but you just kind of like, what am I doing this for? I got this cool card from one of my cross country kids, a 6th grader. It's like out of nowhere, it comes to me in the mail. So I'm representing, got my Mavericks cross country shirt on here. So go St.
love
John's.
That.
I want to congratulate the class of 2020, St. John's, and everyone around the world, because man, it's been a tough year for them.
Ooh, that's all right.
Yeah. What you been up to?
Well, we've been on the road, so we enjoy a little family getaway, doing our best to still obey the social distancing. It's interesting to see how different parts do it. Like we went down south in our bus and, took all our own food and stuff like that. But it's a different world right now.
I hear RV sales are up.
I can imagine, because you don't have to get on a plane. You take everything with you. You really rarely make stops. I mean, our bus gets us about 1,000 miles before we ever have to stop and refill. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Guys, I'm going to go. I just want to remind you real quick up front, go to screen share here, but just if you guys would just do us a favor, the best way to kind of view this show or listen to it's probably YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Not Facebook. So I'm going to pop up our information so you have it. Can you see that, Doc?
Yep.
Okay, so
Looks
you
good.
guys can follow us here. YouTube, click on the subscribe button. We'd love to get over 100 subscribes. But if you have a tough time finding the show, just type in Smarter Not Harder Show and do a search, and we'll pop up there. And we'd love to get it over 100 so we can get access to more folks and share this show with more people. Okay. And then, so I guess we'll just roll into. I'm going to start with some news, Doc.
Go for it.
Let me pull this up on my browser. And I was looking at, I can't remember where I found this, but I heard that Google and Apple were kind of looking at all this mobility. How people are moving around during COVID. So let me share this with you guys real quick. Thought it was pretty interesting. So what I did is I pulled up my hometown. Well, it's by county with Google. Let me pull it up here and show you. So pretty interesting.
Do you have the ability to zoom that? Look at the bottom right.
Yeah, let me go. Hold up one second. Let me go back over to browser here. It didn't queue it up to. Well, here's Texas. So let me see if I can. I can't. I have a tough time blowing this up. Anyways, you guys can look at this. Just Google mobility COVID-19. This is like Texas. And then you can break it down by county. I looked up Harris, but for the state, Houston's rocking. I can tell you that right now. The state of Texas, obviously, this is still low. They look at grocery, pharmacy, retail, recreation, parks, transit stations, which obviously we don't have as much of that in Texas compared to, say, New York City.
True.
Workplace volume down 24%. Residential up 11. I don't know what that means. People moving around their house. I have no idea.
Maybe neighborhood.
Yeah, probably walking the dog stuff, I would think, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Let me take that off a share. I want to show you one more thing. This is pretty interesting on Apple. Um, Go back to share here and pull this up. So this is also mobility, but this is probably more like just like Google. Uh, this is probably more so just, oops, I don't have it. I don't have it on the screen here. Oh, well, I was going to share that with you guys, but I pulled up Nashville, Doc, and pretty interesting. I was looking, comparing your state to mine, and
Would you notice?
Nashville's not moving around as much, but they're kind of coming out of it. But you can just Google that, and it gives you a good idea what's happening in your state. You can break it down to city. You can look up your city, you can do Nashville, Google's by county. Obviously,
Hey, will you post a link after we're done?
yeah,
Throw it
I'll
in the
put that
comments?
in Facebook. And
Nice.
so obviously one thing I've also looked at is Strava data, because Strava data looks at how people move around on bicycles, on foot, walking, things
Yeah.
like that. So maybe we'll share that with you next week, because obviously, just because car volume's down, that doesn't mean like people are working out in their home. So you probably look at Fitbit data and Strava data, but I think it's just kind of a wash, really. I still think people just, a lot of people are just kind of afraid to go out and do anything.
Yeah.
Let alone you go to the grocery store, let alone go
Right.
to the gym or do a little boot camp style class in their backyard or whatever. So. So let's talk about today's topic, Doc. I mean, we kind of bantered around on this one, and I know you're a mobility expert. I'll pull up a slide in a second. We're going to talk about flexibility and mobility. So I'll just kind of give the reins over to you, because that's your specialty. And I guess you've got some tips today on like smarter ways to stretch, correct?
Correct. Yeah. And there are multiple different hacks that we can use for helping to increase mobility, but I figure why not just focus on one? Let's just talk about stretching smarter, because gosh, our show's Smarter Not Harder.
Yeah.
And let's also talk about, if you want to throw a slide up on mobility,
Yeah.
the big thing that's really changed in the last 20 years is that we've gone from this focus on flexibility. I mean, how far can you go, right?
Yeah.
So flexibility is just, your total distance. Mobility includes not only your total distance, but how easy is it to actually move through that distance. There's a lot of people you see go to touch their toes and they just drop straight down. Super ease of movement. There are other people that they go, oh, I can do it, but you strain and you stress and you try to force your way there. The big key on mobility is just moving easier. Like if we go out, if we're runners, golfers, moms or dads, whatever you want to call it, if we can just move easier, we don't have to use as much effort, and there's less strain, less stress on the joints, on the ligaments, tendons, etc. So we've got mobility here, the ability or capability to move, and really I would say the ability or capability to easily move. We're talking about the difference between a bicycle or a bicycle that's all lubed up and one that has some rust and grime and dirt on the chain. Rusty chain. I mean, it's the same bicycle. You're just working 2, sometimes 3 times harder to do the same thing. And so fun thing is watching people as they improve their mobility and they kind of get a hold of this, they go out there to actually do what they used to do before, whether it's run, cycle, lift, play, work in the yard, you name it. And they'll go, oh my gosh, like I was so much faster, or I PR'd, or whatever. And so this really is just about helping you get from point A to point B smarter. Now,
So it's like more fluid movement then, right?
yeah, more fluid
fluid.
movement, just ease of movement. I would just
Yeah.
say that's probably the easiest way to put it, is ease of movement. When we're talking about stretching, we got to ask, well, what's the purpose of stretching? Most people think, well, stretching is good, right? Lengthening out the muscles, they're good. Helping to improve the range of motion, that's good. But the research has actually shown that stretching before you go out and do activity leaves you actually more at risk for injury.
Yeah, especially with running.
Especially with running. They actually did the research on soccer and football. So they found that those who actually stretched before they went out and did activity and actually did practice or performed and played games, they actually had a higher injury rate than those people who did a slow, gradual, active warm-up. Now, there's two ways to really improve your mobility before you actually do activity. And one is through a gradual increase of core temperature. And that's where you do an active warm-up. That'd be a good topic sometime for you to do, Coach, because you probably take people through active warm-ups.
Especially before real tough workouts.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're not easing in. Yeah, like
absolutely.
Track or hills.
Before you do track, hills, something explosive, lifting, you name it. Or what we do is we hack the system a little bit and gently guide the body into allowing us to have the more without forcing it. Static stretching, what they found is you have to actually hold a static stretch. Let's say hamstrings. You go over, bend over, touch your toes, and you hold it there. Now, when I throw this question out, and I'll throw it out to you guys, to everybody who's watching, how long would you have to hold a static stretch in order for all those little components inside that muscle to relax, release, and allow you to have more flexibility? Most people will guess, I don't know, 30 seconds, a minute. I mean, some people are like 5 seconds. The real answer is 6 minutes. You'd have to hold a static stretch. I know. Now you do the math.
We've got time for that.
10 stretches, 6 minutes apiece. That's an hour. Who's got an hour to do stretching?
Well, what's amazing about that too is like the average runner you see at Memorial Park here in Houston, they jump out of the car and they're good for about 6 seconds.
Yeah,
that's the whole quad right, quad left, and they're off like a rocket.
Right.
So
now I did one of your coaches, and I'm not going to name names right here, but she knows who I'm talking about. She blew me away because when she wrote down her routine for me, she did exactly what I would wish everybody would do before they go run. She literally took an entire mile.
Yep.
And she walks an entire mile as a warm-up to get her core temperature up. Now, she does have a stretch routine that she does, just kind of going through and effectively, going through some things.
Yeah.
But literally, she lets herself warm up for an entire mile.
I'm telling you, dude, the big breakthrough
That's 15 to 18 minutes of just moving before she even runs.
I mean, the big breakthrough last year with my group, I'm like, because people meet in the parking lot before a long run.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are y'all doing? Go walk. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you can talk while you're walking.
Right.
Like your warm-up's your walk. But I'm like, well, because I know you're not going to walk out of the blocks when I say go and go run your run. So, but the ones that have really embraced that in the group, I do a cool down I do a cool down and warm up, walk, workout, whatever that may be. And then a cool down walk.
Yeah. She does it for a mile start, mile in. And it's crazy because somewhere between 7 and 15 minutes, you're going to feel something change to where you go, oh, wow, something just got easier.
Yeah.
Something got easier. And we'll talk about my 5s hack is for fascia. Today we're talking about the 3s hack. But when we talk about fascia, we'll talk about how fascia goes from a solid to a liquid. It literally goes, and here let me shoot my screen up here.
So fascia, the best way, I mean, you could probably define it better than me, but the best way.
Here, will you pop up my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. So that white stuff that says perimysium, there's all different types of fascia. There's the epimysium, which surrounds the outer coating, the perimysium, and then you got the endomysium, which they don't show you right here. But all that fascia right there can go from either a solid state to a liquid state, meaning it can go from like butter in the fridge to butter on the counter. So by increasing your core temperature, what you're doing is you're melting this stuff and it's starting to liquefy. And that's why between 7 and 10 minutes, when you're walking that mile, it actually gets easier. and it feels easier. If you just jump right out and start running, you're going to notice it's really hard. You're using a lot of energy, muscles are tightening up, your effort is really, really high, your heart rate's up, but that's the stuff that loosens up.
As I've gotten older, I just have to do it.
Yeah.
There's no choice for me.
So let's jump into talking about how we get these little contractile filaments. Where it says down here, it says myosin and actin, those little end piece filaments at the very that they're exploding at the end. You've got millions of those inside each muscle. So these are the things that contract, slide, and glide. And if we blow this up down here, let me see if I can actually get that a little bigger. Right there at the very bottom is kind of a cross section of what these actin and myosin filaments look like. They shorten, they lengthen. They shorten, they lengthen. But these things right here have a general resting length, meaning they can either be resting in a shortened position, meaning you have a tighter, more ropey, more restricted muscle, or they can be resting in a more relaxed position, which means you have a pliable, less ropey, more lengthened muscle. There is a way to hack these things and to get them back into the resting length that's longer versus shorter. And that's what we call the threes hack. So I'm going to go over there. Okay. Or let's just, here we go. You can see a little definition of link tension relationship right there. So for the geeks, there is active tension, passive tension. Passive is just how tight is the muscle when you're just you're just putting it through a range of motion, passive stretching. And then active is actively how far can you actually take it. Now, that dictates where things are on the resting length. So on threes hack, threes is a reset hack for mobility. What it does is it increases your resting length. Those actin and myosin filaments, instead of being locked super tight like this, they're kind of relaxed. They give you more resting passive range. Plus, it allows you to have more active range. The other thing that it does is it decreases the resting tension of a muscle, meaning instead of your muscle feeling like a tight rope, it feels a little bit more like a kind of a relaxed bungee cord. All muscles should feel relaxed at rest, not tight at rest. Now, we all have muscles on one side or the other that have a tighter resting length or a tighter tension load on it. And I've always heard this. I actually heard this recently. I thought this was awesome. Somebody said muscles are like guitars. They just need frequent tuning. I mean, it's true. So when people come in, they go, hey, show me how to get this released. And I'll show them how to get it released. And they'll say, oh, wow, that feels amazing. How long will it last? That would be like somebody tuning up your guitar and you go, that sounds amazing. How long is it going to last? It does.
And the more you play the guitar, the more you definitely got to tune it up.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. So the better way to think about this is become a master tuner of your own muscles. Using different hacks where you can actually get it tuned up. You don't have to go in and ask somebody else to do it for you. But threes hack is a great way to actually reset that length and tension. The reason why we're talking techniques more than we're talking about specific stretches for specific muscles is that if I teach you a technique, you can apply it to any muscle anywhere in the body. And in fact, you can use any position, such as just a general stretch like he's doing down there, like the butterfly stretch, or you can use yoga positions. You can get in a yoga position, use your threes hack. You can use a general stretch that you've learned either from high school, college, a trainer, YouTube, whatever, and apply that threes hack to it. I'm the freak show in the yoga classes that are sitting there doing hacks, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, never mind. I'm weird. Just going to do my thing. But then they see me go in like warrior pose, and then all of a sudden I'm deeper, and they're like, how are you doing that?
That would not be me, but.
So anyway, let's talk about this threes hack right here.
Yeah.
Now, we did a little bit on the first show. We talked a little bit about the threes, but a threes hack has 3 different steps to it. And you'll quickly figure out why we call it the threes. You do a 3-second relax, meaning kind of like you're relaxing into a stretch. If you're stretching your neck like this, you're just going to do 3-second relax into a stretch. And then you're going to do a little bit of resist where the muscle you're stretching, you want to just lightly contract it for 3 seconds. And then you're going to relax it, and it goes a little bit further. Now we're going to repeat that 3 times where you stretch it for 3. You resist or contract for 3. And you keep going through that kind of 3 times end on a light stretch. So the reason why this works is it takes these fibers here at the very end, those tip fibers that are on the bottom, and it helps to reset that length and tension. Your body has the ability to hold it at a tighter junction or a looser. And when you're trying to stretch it with a general stretch, your body goes, don't think so. You've got little nerve cells in there that say, no, I don't think so. I mean, in fact, they're called muscle spindle cells. The muscle spindle cells will go,
And they just prevent you from, going through a range of motion that's not quite right at that time, right?
Absolutely.
Get injured.
And so what you're doing is you're helping to tap into those muscle spindles like a Control-Delete taps into a computer and says, hey, let's stop this spinning ball of death. And literally says, give me just a little bit. And it goes, okay. And then it goes, no, I don't want to give you more. And you go, give me a little bit more. And it goes, okay. Now, there is a reason why your muscles typically have a shorter resting length. The majority of the reason are going to be posture and habit related stuff. And then the other reasons is you had a past injury like in that area, and your body has muscle memory and it's trying to guard against that right there.
Would that relate to scar tissue?
No, it's going to be scar tissue going to be more on the fascia side of things.
Okay.
And that's the reason why I've got the 6s hack and the 5s hack. In fact, that's my mobility 365 method on being able to fully release, relax, and loosen up your mobility. But there's 3 main reasons why muscles stay in a tighter resting length. This is the majority. If we're talking about the 80-20 rule, kind of is it Pareto's law? There's 80% of the stuff, 80% of the reason why muscles are tight, like are caused by a minimal 20% of stuff. And so if we focus on the majors, we can get most of the muscles released. This one right here works for just about every muscle in your body. The only reason it wouldn't work, it was if something was broken, torn, mauled, maimed, or severely degenerative, it wouldn't work.
And I guess other than that, it's just that using these techniques and just having that awareness of where you are across all those different muscles. Then, right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely. So whether or not you're doing a hamstring stretch, whether or not you're doing a quad, a hip flexor, you hold it for 3. You back out of that stretch just a little bit, resist for 3 seconds, and then go a little deeper into the stretch, and progress it like that. I'm going to back up. You're not going to be able to hear me because of the mic being right here. But if you can blow up my screen just a little bit, I'm going to unplug my monitor.
Oh, you want me to just go full on the
go full on me.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And I'll move my mic out of the way. I'll show you guys.
Oops. Okay, got you on solo.
So I'm going to back up and I'm going to show you. You won't be able to hear me, but I'll be able to actually do a 3s in like a warrior position on yoga for adductors. So you guys see where I started from. And with each rep that I did, I was able to actually progress that range a little deeper in a safe way. So that way I'm not forcing anything. I'm not contracting super hard, stretching super hard. It's as easy as doing a Control-Delete. It doesn't matter. The computer does not even care how hard you hit the keys, how quickly you do it, so long as you just do it in the right order.
So let me ask you this. How does this compare, and I may get a bit geeky too here, but to PNF, proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation? Is it in that same wheelhouse where you're stretching one muscle, but you're trying to contract that opposing muscle?
So with PNF, this is a version. It's a version of PNF or what they call muscle energy technique.
Okay.
And it's a stretch contract procedure, but the way it's written up in a lot of the textbooks is they have intervals all over the place. It was 15-second stretch, 30-second resist, repeat 7.5 3/4 time, and it was one of those things everybody had a hard time remembering. What was the interval that I actually do this versus that? And I played around with it for over a decade working on people, and I finally got it down to a point where the lowest common denominator was a 3. And I could stretch somebody for 3, have them resist for 3, repeat it 3 times, and I was at my kind of end position that I needed to be as far as lengthening. Now, some of these lengthenings are pretty substantial. So like, for instance, a hamstring or back muscle or even adductors, you could see I was dropping further and further. And you got a pretty darn good amount of range out of it just from doing a simple 3s hack. So
plus it's just simple, man. I mean, anything you can do to make it simple for people to do it.
Yes.
Knowing that the majority of the population is probably not going to do it.
Well, here's the thing.
Win-win.
It takes what would have otherwise taken 60 minutes of stretch, meaning 6 minutes, static stretch, 10 stretches. What took 60 minutes, it compressed it down into less than 6 minutes.
Yeah, that's good. Always.
Which is great, because then you can actually lengthen a few things, go out and do an active warm-up, and feel fantastic.
Yeah, smarter, not harder.
Smarter, not harder.
All right, cool. I know we'll be hitting a lot on movement because you are a movement specialist. And one thing I want to remind people too, that I don't know if you'd started doing it prior to COVID, but you do mobility. You can do mobility checkups over Zoom.
Oh yeah,
with folks too. So you can actually book a mobility session with the doc if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, that's true. So if you're watching this and you're like, hey, I'd love to have I'd love to do one of those. If you want to get on a Zoom with me and we can chat about what your goals are, we can come up with a time to go through and do that. But hey, if you want to chat with me about it, you can you got our personal info.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop that up now. Yeah, yeah. It's so
if you want
to all the information, if you guys want to check that out.
So there's my mobile up there. It's the 615-600-4747. Yeah. If you want to text me, say, hey, I watched your video. I watched about the 3s hack. I'd love to chat with you a little bit more about getting a consultation to where we can go through and you can show me how to find what I need to be fixing in regards to my mobility. Shoot me a text. Give me a call. Reference this. Just say hi. And no charge for that. But we'll talk about what your goals are, what you want to do, and I'll let you know how it rolls. And if that's something that you want to do, we'll get it set up, help you out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I wanted to pull up just so you guys on the way out the door here, guys. Today, I've got our new YouTube channel.
Hey,
up.
Look at that! Yeah.
So actually, this is our 4th episode because it schedules it out here. But yeah, this is the easiest way to view all this stuff, guys. And I know you're watching cat videos. I know that's happening. So, but yeah, just subscribe. Hit this little button up here. We'd love to get this over 100. And if you got a loved one, a buddy, an athlete friend of yours that's looking to just kind of take it to the next level, by all means, just share the channel with them. We'd really appreciate that.
And hey, if you found that this 3s hack is working awesome, will you actually post something either on YouTube or Facebook? I mean, even better would be like shoot a little video and say, hey, This is where I was before, this is where I was after. Because the honest truth is, everybody loves to see when it works for somebody else. Now, the deal is when you figure out it works for you, which it will, the 3-sack will work for you. It's fun to just share that so other people encouraged and they can actually just do it. I think the biggest thing is somebody going, well, I don't know. I watched this video. I don't even know if I really even want to try it or start. You can show your 3-sack with whatever you did it on, and that'll actually allow somebody to say, oh, wow, okay, I'm going to just mimic what they did. Because sometimes some people watch this and go, I don't even know which stretch to even start with.
Yeah, I think that's where they get bogged down. It's like, what are the top 10 stretches? And it's like, well, there's not a muscle in your body that doesn't want to be stretched, right?
So here's something else too. Put it in the comments, like either in the comments or text me, but particularly in the comments because other people can comment too, is say, hey, we chose the 3-sack for, let's just call it the serratus anterior, right? Or the splenius muscle. What? I'm just kidding. I'm making stuff up now.
Come on now.
The pterygoid. Show me the 3s for the pterygoid muscle. There's another one for you right there. They're like, where is the pterygoid? So, and hey, keep it clean. I don't want anybody out there saying, show me the 3s for the levator ani, right? It is a muscle, but we're not going to do the 3s for that.
So just to review, Doc, you would probably recommend doing these type of range of motion things. Like it would probably be best to do some type of
Let's see. I think Michael froze on me. I don't know if I'm out or he's out. So if I'm still in and this is rolling, I can see the counter there. He just dropped. He'll probably pop back in here in a second. This is best to do before you go move, after you go move. And really, honestly, the best thing to do is to be able to learn a self-check. All right, your coach is back in. Learn a self-check to where you can go through a routine. You don't have to actually check everything every time before you move. You can literally have different days where you're checking different areas. But when you're out there moving your body, whether it's running, biking, lifting, doing a class, going for a hike, playing with kids, whatever it might be, working in the yard, you typically know which spots are tighter and feel restricted and which ones feel more sore when you're done, like the next day. Those are the ones you typically want to be able to make sure that they're lengthening like they should, so they're not have to work so darn hard and be so sore the next day. It really helps with recovery from the standpoint of if you can be proactive and help your mobility in advance, they're not going to have to work so hard to where the next day they're so sore. It's a smarter, not harder way to recover and become more fit.
Sounds good. Am I back on audio?
You're back
here?
on. Yeah.
Right.
You popped out and popped down.
Yeah. All right, guys. We want to remind you this show's for you guys.
Yes.
So if you've got show topics or things that you would really love to learn more about that are in our wheelhouse, by all means, drop us an email. It's simple, smarter not harder show @gmail.com, and we'll reply to that. Or you can put anything in the comments there, and we'll go back after the show and answer any questions there for you. Okay.
Absolutely.
Doc, you have anything else before we roll out of here?
That's it. Have a fantastic week. It's getting warmer. The sun's out. Get some D. Remember, vitamin D boosts the immune system. It also is one of the factors that determines whether or not you have a 0 to mild symptoms and moderate to severe, not only on COVID, but also with other things as well. Yeah. So just stay healthy. Keep moving. Do things smarter and harder.
You tune in live every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Central Time. We'll be on next week with some other new topic to go over. And check out the YouTube channel. You can also, like, if you're a Facebook person, obviously we got a Facebook page up too. Just search for Smarter Not Harder Show, and that'll pop up. And just like that page, and that way you know when we go live or we have a replay available. Okay, if you missed the front end of this, obviously you can just check the replay out on our YouTube channel and on Facebook. Okay. You guys have a great week.
All right, we're out.
All right.
See
See
ya.
ya. All right.